The night was quiet, the city winding down after a long day. Neon signs flickered in the distance, while a fine drizzle fell steadily, coating the empty streets in a sheen of silver. Michael Hayes, a man whose face was on business magazines but whose heart carried an invisible weight, drove slowly through the rain. He had everything money could buy: private jets, penthouses, boardrooms full of people who followed his every word, but when the doors closed and the lights dimmed, he returned home to silence. He had spent the evening at a gala, surrounded by people in glittering clothes, laughing too loudly and clinking glasses filled with champagne. Yet he had stood there with a practiced smile, feeling utterly detached. For years, he had buried himself in work to avoid acknowledging how lonely he had become. Tonight, however, the emptiness gnawed at him more fiercely than usual. As his car rolled past a nearly deserted bus stop, something caught his eye. A fragile figure sat hunched forward on the bench. A young woman in a nurse's uniform, her thin sweater no match for the cold, cradled a small baby against her chest. Her hair clung to her damp cheeks, her shoulders trembling. Michael's instinct told him to keep driving. After all, it wasn't his business. But then the baby let out a weak, pained cry, piercing through the night like a desperate plea. Michael slowed to a stop, debating with himself. The rational side said it wasn't his responsibility. Yet the human side, the one he often tried to silence, overpowered him. He stepped out of his luxury car, the cold rain instantly soaking his tailored suit. "Miss, are you all right?" His voice was calm, but she flinched as though expecting danger. Emily looked up, her wide eyes full of fear and exhaustion. "I'm fine," she whispered quickly, though her voice trembled. She held her baby closer, as though shielding him from a stranger. Michael crouched down, ignoring the puddle beneath him. "You're shivering. And your baby?" He glanced at the infant wrapped in a blanket far too thin for the freezing weather. "He looks cold." Tears welled in Emily's eyes. For weeks, she had been holding everything together, working long hospital shifts, skipping meals to save money, and praying her child wouldn't fall sick. Tonight, with nowhere else to go, she had hoped the bus would take her to a friend's place, but the last bus had already left. Now she was stranded. I don't have anywhere to go," she admitted, her pride finally cracking. "I lost my apartment after paying my mother's medical bills. I thought, maybe I could stay with someone, but," she stopped, her throat tightening. "It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out." Michael's heart twisted. Here was a woman who had given her life to caring for others as a nurse, now sitting in the cold with her child, abandoned by the world. He had met countless people chasing his money, yet this stranger, with nothing but a baby in her arms, carried more dignity and strength than any of them. Without thinking, he reached out and gently adjusted the blanket around the baby. "You shouldn't be out here," he said softly. "Come with me. I can help." Emily shook her head instantly. "No, I don't know you. I can't." Her words faltered, her eyes searching his face for signs of cruelty. Michael didn't push. Instead, he simply stood there, rain dripping from his hair, his tone steady but sincere. "I won't hurt you. I promise. Just let me give your baby some warmth." Her baby let out another soft cry, this time sharper, hungrier. Emily's chest ached. She wanted to run, but where? She wanted to trust, but how? The decision weighed heavier than anything she had faced. And yet, deep inside, something in the man's eyes told her he wasn't lying. For Michael, it was. The first time in years he had felt a pull in his heart, not business-driven, not ambition-fueled, but purely human. That rainy night, under the dim glow of the bus stop, two broken souls crossed paths, one shivering in despair, the other drowning in loneliness. Neither knew it, but this encounter was about to change everything. Emily sat frozen on the bus stop bench, her baby's soft whimpers cutting through the patter of rain. The tall man in front of her, Michael Hayes, though she didn't yet know his name, had just spoken the words that both terrified and tempted her: "Come with me. I can help." Her heart pounded wildly. She had heard stories all her life about people who took advantage of desperate women, about promises that turned into traps. She couldn't afford to be naive, not with her baby depending on her. Yet, her entire body ached with exhaustion. Her son's cheeks were cold against her chest. Every instinct screamed that she had to protect him, but another instinct whispered that this stranger might be her only chance. "I can't," she whispered, clutching her baby tighter. Her eyes darted toward the road, wishing another bus would appear and whisk her away. Michael didn't move closer. He stayed a respectful distance, his tone gentle but firm. I understand why you don't trust me. You shouldn't trust strangers. But your baby needs warmth, food, a safe place. I can give you that. Nothing more. The way he said, nothing more, made her pause. He wasn't leering at her like other men sometimes did. Instead, he looked at her child with an expression she couldn't quite read, something between concern and longing. Still, doubt not at her. She had survived by being careful, by saying no when things felt wrong. And yet, every fiber of her being told her she couldn't make it through the night in the rain with her baby. Michael noticed her hesitation and didn't push further. Instead, he slowly slipped off his heavy designer coat, crouched down again, and draped it gently over the baby. At least let him stay warm while you decide, he murmured. His hands, steady and careful, tucked the coat around the tiny body. Emily's throat tightened. It had been so long since anyone had shown her kindness without expecting something in return. She glanced at the man's face in the dim light, strong jawline, tired eyes, but softened by a sincerity she hadn't expected. Her baby let out a sigh, settling into the warmth of the coat. Tears stung her eyes. She hated feeling weak, hated needing help, but her love for her child outweighed her pride. I don't even know your name, she said finally, her voice trembling. Michael, he answered. Michael Hayes. He extended his hand but then lowered it, realizing she was too busy holding her baby to respond. Instead, he added quietly, you don't have to tell me yours until you're ready. Emily studied him carefully. The name sounded familiar, perhaps she had seen it in a newspaper headline or on a billboard, but right now, he wasn't a CEO or some powerful figure. He was just a man standing in the rain, offering warmth. She bit her lip, torn between fear and hope. And if I go with you, what then? Then you'll have a roof over your head tonight, he said simply. A warm bed for your baby. Food. Nothing else is expected of you. Tomorrow, if you want to leave, I'll drive you wherever you need to go. No strings attached. The words, no strings attached, hit her like a wave. No one had ever offered her anything without expecting something back. Still, her guard was up. People don't just help for no reason. Michael's eyes darkened slightly, as if her words struck a hidden wound. Maybe I need a reason too, he admitted. I've been alone for a long time. I don't know why I stopped tonight, but maybe it's because I was meant to. Maybe helping you will remind me of something I've been missing. The honesty in his voice startled her. Most men she had met pretended, lied, or hid their motives. But here he was, openly admitting he was lonely. She looked down at her baby, who was now sleeping more soundly under Michael's coat. The decision weighed heavily, but her motherly instinct made it for her. She couldn't risk her child's health, not when warmth and safety were right in front of her. Taking a deep breath, she nodded faintly. Okay, we'll come. Michael didn't smile in triumph or relief, he only nodded respectfully, as though acknowledging the trust she was extending. He opened the car door, waiting as Emily carefully stood, adjusting the baby against her chest. As she stepped into the plush leather interior, she felt an odd mix of shame and gratitude. She wasn't used to luxury, her life had been full of cramped apartments and budget buses. The car smelled faintly of leather and cedar, and the heater filled the space with warmth. Her baby sighed again, content. Michael slid behind the wheel, starting the engine, but his voice was quiet. Thank you for trusting me. Emily didn't respond right